Ancestors protect me.
YouTube flagged.
Protect you.
Yes, Jamie! Yes! All right, guys. Funsie is back. If you don't get the reference, it was from last episode I watched Hot Rod.
What'd you think?
I was expecting it to be a Grammy Award winning or whatever it is, Oscar Award winning absolute banger 10 out of 10. It was not that. It was not
It was
that.
a steaming turd.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest movie. It was probably like a 6 out of 10, but the way that Jay Millie and Robbie were hyping me up, I
think
was
it's just because you
expecting,
went in expecting it to be a 10
That's
out of
why.
10.
That's why.
Every time you go in
was.
expecting something to be a 10 out of 10, it's so
I
hard
was,
to get it to
but
live up to the
in my head,
expectations.
as I was watching that, because I'm not a quote guy. I'm not a movie quote guy. I'm one of the worst movie quote guys. Some people have it. Like, I have to, like, it's either got to be a great quote where it's, like, the most common quote that everyone quotes. Like, the other day, I pulled out a quote. I was talking to a host at Applebee's, and my friend James, Nick Carl's cousin, had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, "Bye, James. I hope you find your dad." And that's
You
like
also referenced that in the last episode.
yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. So that's like the most common. Like everyone knows that quote. It's the narwhal and elf, but I just don't. Other than that, I don't know. So I was actively watching Hot Rod, thinking like, dude, I gotta think of a quote. I gotta memorize a quote so I can bring it. And I was like, what's a good quote here? What's a good quote here? And
There's so many.
All the quotes you guys said, like, I don't think I remembered, but I do remember ancestors protect me because it was hilarious. And I really liked that one. But there you go.
You don't remember cool beans? Beans?
Cool. Yeah, but I feel like that's not a quote. That's just like a scene. But I listened back to our podcast.
Babe, wait, no.
Wait, let's see if I can think of a quote. Yeah, I really can't think of a quote. Frank, I'm gonna kill you or whatever. I don't know. I'm gonna bust your face, Frank. I don't know what he says. But I will say, I listened back and Robbie said, while you're watching the movie, you're gonna expect it to go away, and just when you're expecting to go away, it does not go that way. And I can say that is so true. Like the mountain falling scene, Cool Beans are two ones where it's like, bro, what is going on? Where it breaks the fourth wall. Anyways, long intro about Hot Rod. How are you boys doing?
Dude, we are doing. There's actually a lot to talk about. I feel like I don't know how you guys feel, but. I mean, it was awesome to have Robbie on last week, but it'll be nice to catch up and talk about what we all have going on.
Yes, we all have a lot going on.
Well, I feel like we haven't had a chance. I guess we kind of talked about the season officially starting, but that's something we can definitely talk about as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've covered chat or Supreme Flight in Waco.
Already. Yeah, just like little tiny tidbits. It feels like. We can start there if we would like, I suppose. I know the hot thing that everyone has talked about, if you listen to pretty much any outlet for disc golf, is Hole 18 at Sprinkle Valley. And specifically for FPO. Would you care to give any thoughts regarding this hole, or do you feel like pretty much anything that's been said has already been covered?
Go ahead, Jay Millie, because I already gave my thoughts on my other podcast. So if you're a true fan of me, you already heard it, but I will give my thoughts after Jay Millie.
And this is close to home for you, Josh, because you've played Sprinkle Valley. I don't know. Well, maybe Ben has too. I have not.
I've not.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I feel like I have a little bit more leeway in this situation. My overview is I think it's a great hole. I mean, I think it's pretty controversial. Like,
whoa!
I typically have controversial takes, so I guess this isn't out of the ordinary.
You really do.
But like, I like it. I don't know. The green is minuscule, but if you cross the green, you're putting for par.
So what did you
or bogey
score
or whatever
on in the Isaac Robinson? I watched your video, but I didn't get that far.
I think I double bogeyed, but I went OB on my second shot.
Okay.
Oh, so like you weren't even in the woods, yeah.
I made the green in one when I was approaching the green.
Got it.
Are there things that you? Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I was just gonna say my mindset was just cross it. If you cross it, you have a putt. Like, I don't understand why there weren't more pros doing what Simon did 2 years ago at Toboggan, and just absolutely gassing something that either you're gonna go long or you're gonna stick the back of the OB. And like also at the same time, everyone was only thinking forehands or backhands. Like the overhand shot was the play, like 100%. I had a friend who, when we practiced, he threw grenade, stuck it. In the tournament, threw grenade, stuck it. Like overhand was the play. I feel like no one ever thinks overhand, but that was a play because regardless, you're gonna have a putt because you're gonna cross. And then second of all,
but you have to get in a good position. I feel like.
Oh, if you're not in a good position, then just lay up to the staircase. I just don't like. So part of it is all I've heard is hole 18 sucks, but I haven't seen the reasons for it. But my opinion is it's a fun hole. Like, I think it's tough, and I can kind of understand why, like, maybe for FPO, people are like, this is impossible for FPO.
Yeah, for FPO, it has to be changed regardless. I mean, in my opinion.
Why do you say that? Why?
Because
like
FPO players,
island,
women are naturally shorter than men, and they're naturally around 5 feet, and that staircase is over their head.
That's why it's an overhand. Like, people ignore that the overhand is the third shot in disc golf. Like, yeah, there's players that get away with only throwing forehands and only throwing backhands, but like an overhand is a genuine play. Like, I would like to see more holes designed
here's the thing.
For the overhand.
Holland Hanley on our podcast, Stagger Stance, one of her practice rounds, there's a ripping headwind, and she was like, there's some people in the FPO field that can't even reach the island green. So I think that's another thing. Some FPO players probably can't overhand it and reach from that position.
But isn't it like a competition? You know,
I know that was going to be your point, where it's like, adapt and overcome.
So you're saying Jake Wolf would have shredded this course?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Second round, there was over 100 OBs for FPO players, and I think it averaged like 3 strokes over par, which is the most on any hole ever.
Yeah, but have you heard Mint's response? The reason they made it like that is, it's a fun hole, but also that little goalie fills up and it's dangerous and it's bad and it's like not a good place to play disc golf from because of the marsh, and like they were worried about injuries and stuff like that. So like it's a genuine OB, like they were worried about liabilities, so they were like, we're just not going to let people play from here.
Before we even go any further, I'll give my opinion, because like I actually think it is a great hole. Believe it or not.
Let's go.
But I think it's a great hole. I think it's bad
actually
hole
not
right now.
like
I think it's
crazy
a bad hole
hard either.
I think it's a bad hole now. I think the bones of it is a great hole. I think you just add a drop zone as soon as you go OB, either on the stair platform, or maybe maybe for FPO a little like in front of it, so it's flat ground. And that's my take.
I love that.
That's my take. I think that's all you need to add, and it's a great hole.
I think that's the happy middle ground that is needed to bridge both gaps. I think if you go OB in that, you don't get the benefit of having a putt if you didn't cross.
You still
but you should be able to have a more open view. I agree. I like that take.
So that's why I say it's a great hole. I think it's a great design. It's just they needed one more drop zone. I think it's a bad hole without that drop zone, because it's a really cool, like Germ said it on commentary, it's a really cool hole because it's like every shot gets progressively harder. It's like the first shot's like the basic hyzer, and then third shot's kind of like, you have to place in a certain point. Third or second shot, and then third shot is like you got to hit the gap and place in a good part, and then fourth shot is you got to stick the island, so it gets progressively harder. And I think it's a super cool hole in that way. It was just the hole got ruined because people were taking 12s, 13s, 11s consistently. But if you have that drop zone on top of the stairs, then let's say you go OB on 4, then you're shooting 6, and that's still like that's still gonna hurt you. You're still getting punished if you're shooting 6 from the drop zone, and the best you could do is a 7 unless you throw it in. But it's not as crazy, and it's more. And then you could still throw it OB again. But at that point, if you throw it OB from that point, then it's just like you threw a bad shot because you're looking at the island like it's a stock shot everyone should have. And if you throw it OB again, then you just go to the drop zone. Maybe I think they maybe have drop zone on the edge of the island. I don't really know.
Yes.
So yeah, then you go to advance that one if you throw OB again, and then you're getting a 9. But it's more so because your fault, not so much that, like, you know, you're trying to stick a postage stamp green. I don't know. My opinion.
Yeah, also, and I don't feel like I've heard anyone talk about this. One benefit that I will give to the players in this is the amount of time that they had between Waco and this plus event. What do they have, like 3 days to like travel? I mean, I know it's close by, granted, but I don't think they had that much time, right? And it's like, I do recall at USW DDC last year, people were complaining like a disc would land on the stairs leading up to a hole 18 screen, and they'd be like, that's so stupid. Why would you be able to land on that? And then they make the change this year, and I think it's just also, yeah, spoiler, I agree with these guys. I think it's a good hole. I think it's just inching closer every year to being a good hole. But that's also coming from 3 dudes, that are just watching. Well, Josh has played, I suppose, but
I did multiple times.
But also Holland Hanley said there was like 6 card backup on the hole. That's an issue. Like
I agree. I think the biggest issue is, like you said, Ben, the fact that when you're approaching, it is high enough, and I agree. Like, I'm taking the stance of like throwing an overhand, you should be able to do that, but I understand that not everyone does it. So I like the play, but at the same time, I watched. So I'm saying all this. One of the guys on my card took a 28. On the hole.
Wait, Josh.
On 18?
On just 18?
On 18, yeah, he took a 28.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. That's like that's not a good hole if you're taking a 28.
Well, okay.
How is that actually possible?
Yeah. I mean, no hate to the guy. He had a really good round until this, but he made a mistake on like 16 or 17, and he was kind of like
on purpose? He
was kind of a bit of a hothead, and so it seemed like it got the best of him. And then on 18, I think he had already gone OB once or twice, and then we were there, and he was approaching, and he kept just going back to the well that had run dry, and he was trying to approach with a forehand putter, and that was just not working, and he just kept doing it. And he threw his putting putters and like some other putting putters he had in there, and all I could keep thinking was, dude, just gas it. Like, throw something that's gonna pass over so you can putt from the OB.
So Isaac Robinson was witnessing this too?
Yeah.
What did Isaac say?
Oh yeah, I mean, we didn't say anything. Like,
not like
felt
to
like
him,
if you
but
breathed wrong, he was gonna kill us.
That must have been tough to watch. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the guy still would have had a terrible score, but at least it would have picked up the play if he just went to the drop zone on top of the thing, and then
yeah. I was gonna say, in terms of pace of play, yeah, bad. I can see why it would slow everything down, but I still like it.
Was
I think it's
hole 18, because if that was hole 12, bro, that would have been a tough day for.
I just think I like them trying something unique. It's just not. I feel like no one's really doing that.
No, yeah, I
like it.
I applaud them. I think it's a really well designed, good hole. I think it's just missing that one drop zone. That's if they add that drop zone, I think it's it's an incredible hole and super unique, but fair hole, which is all you can ask for. So they just need that drop zone.
Even beyond that, the facility seems incredible. Like, based on what they like, I hear it's like Austin Beer Works, and then
dude,
like
it's insane.
The Mint headquarters, and then combine that with the other, like the golf style course. I think what they have going in Austin right now, I could see it being like a
Wait,
concrete
so disc south
like
to Austin?
yeah,
Nah, we're going back to Dallas. Let's go.
Let's go.
But yeah, I'm stoked about it now. Like going forward, I'm like, hold on, like the Texas swing seems like a good time. Where before Waco is like, oh, I like Waco, and then some of the other courses were like, Now
I kind of feel like the Austin tournament is primed to like try to rival USDGC for like the environment that surrounds the tournament. Like I said, like you mentioned, Sprinkle Valley's on like a beer works. There's a ton of food trucks that are just there. Like they just vend there regardless.
Quick question before
there's a big.
Just quick question. This has to do with your point. Like, was this created recently because of the beer was there in the Mint headquarters, or was this already a course, or is this like the beer works were like who owns it or who did it? And is this a new
think
course?
It's owned by Beer Works, and then Mint came after.
Oh,
I don't know the full thing. I actually wanted to ask the Mint guy about it, but we just recently made the connection, so I'll have to ask him about it later.
Sorry, keep going.
But what I was gonna say is there's like a big covered patio with a ton of seating, and then there's like a little like concert, like a little stage, and like there's a playground, tons of seating. I think they need to work on like crowd control through the course, maybe a hair, but like I think it's set up very well. When you play 9 holes, you loop right back to the beer works. And so like if you're playing casually, you can just hang out in there because hole 1 and hole 10 tee from the same spot. And so yeah, it's just I think it's set up very well. I think it's the best course in Austin. And so I don't know. I think they got a good thing going. I completely agree with you.
I think it's super cool how quickly that came about, because somewhere I think maybe like Mint put out a YouTube video. I recall them like 2 or 3 years ago posting something talking about them going through the property and showing how dense all the trees and shrubs were. And then, I mean, realistically, it's only been 2 or 3 years, and now like boom, the Pro Tour is there, and they're playing like an Elite Plus event, or is that what it's called? Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
It's Elite Plus, but they've put a ton of work into that place for sure.
So 2023 is the answer. So it is a newer course that they just implemented.
Yeah, you could still see all the mulch from where they went through and had to just like those lines did not exist. Just going through being like, all right, let's just, I guess, go this way. So cool to see. Yeah, Josh, I didn't get to watch your video with Isaac caddying for you yet. Are there like any details aside from that weren't like highlighted in the video? Or I would imagine that experience is pretty like, do you feel pressure in that?
Yeah, you had to have.
I don't know. I felt pressure coming up, but then I definitely played better than I have been recently. And I'm not typically someone that plays better under pressure. So, I don't know if you can attribute that to like having a world champ on the bag made me more confident. I think it's twofold. I listened to the first chapter of the audiobook of Golf is Not a Game of Perfect, and I tried to implement some of those things in my game, and I definitely think those helped. I also think having him on the bag, affirming shots, and just being there was really fun and like just kind of calming in and of itself, because it was just like, I don't know, we were just chatting, having a good time. I play better when the vibes are up. If people are taking it serious, I play worse. But in terms of him being a world champ, yeah, there was some nerves, but they quickly disappeared. And yeah, I don't know. I had a great time. It was good. I easily could have qualified. Spoilers if you haven't watched my video, but yeah, I don't know. It was a good time. I forgot your question.
Pressure.
Well, just asking about like the pressure if having like the reigning world champion on your back, like if you felt anything like that. But I mean, you kind of touched on just kind of like the ebbs and flows of your game specifically, and you said that you're kind of in the ebb state. Is there like have we like really talked about this at all? Like, is there a thing that you feel like started happening that kind of put you in this state, or yeah, I don't know, talk about it a little bit if you want to. Maybe you don't.
I would say that my confidence has been pretty low, and I've touched on it in the, like, honestly, in my last 2 or 3 videos, being like, I need to be confident. Like, and I was affirmed in that in the book. It talks about how, oh man, there was a good quote. One sec. Let me see if I can. I wrote a bunch of the quotes down because I want to use them again,
to you.
As well as, yeah, like, use them in my mind. Sorry. Okay, here we go. It was.
It's okay. This quote was about to break my brain.
A person.
Yeah.
A person with great dreams can achieve great things. And pretty much he was talking about how he knew this lady in golf on the LPGA side who was not very good, but she had like crazy, like she was like, oh, I'm going to win. I'm going to go to the LPGA Hall of Fame. And so he started mentoring her and helping her. And she ended up making the LPGA Hall of Fame, which is like super hard.
Wow.
But he used the example of like, she was working towards that the whole time, and like having the confidence and believing in herself is what he thinks was the main contributor to her success. And so that's kind of what I've been thinking about recently is I haven't been confident in myself, but I need to be. Like, I need to just think, easy. Like, this is, I can make the Pro Tour. I can qualify. I can whatever. Like Waco, I was just thinking, oh, I'm not ready, But then I listened to this book and I was like, no, I'm ready. And for the first 10 holes of the tournament, I was shredding. But then I stopped shredding, and that's just a different story. But yeah, I would say it was confidence. And my backhand kind of just... Honestly, when it kind of started is when you guys started talking about my backhand on the tournament. Now that I think about it, I started thinking about my form more, and now I've just been on the lower swing.
But I feel
we
like
broke you. Then you subscribed to Robbie C, and you're like, yo, I need these tips, dog.
Here's the thing. I think it's good to think about form, because it's kind of like a 1 step back, 2 steps forward type thing, because it's only going to make you better personally if you start to like, yes, you can get good just not thinking about form and get to a certain level, and sometimes you can get lucky and not think about form and be good. Like Isaac Robinson, he's notoriously known for he's never thought about form in his life, and he's nasty and has perfect form. But then I also see someone like Ezra, who's also probably never thought about form, and his form isn't like, you don't show it to someone and be like, this is what you have to do. It's a little kind of like clunky, if that makes any sense, but it works, and he's nasty. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a 2-way street. It's either like you just stick with it and you get lucky and get good with the form, or like you might have to fix a few things. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good thing that I'm thinking about my form. But one of the things in the book was like, once you're in a tournament, thinking about form, no trying to tweak anything. Like, you are not correcting anything. What you showed up to the tournament with is what you have.
I agree with that.
And I think that really helped me
poorly rated
during the tournament. Was like, I'm not usually like, oh, I need to switch this in my reach back or whatever. But I do feel like I think about my mindset, or like make certain decisions based on like fear that I wasn't prepared. And so I was like, nope, this is what I have today. I'm winning or losing based on what level of skill I have. And that was super helpful too.
Yeah. I've been told to read that book so many times, and I'm literally going to download the audiobook after this, because I think it's time. Like, I agree with you. I think I'm a really bad putter because of my mental. And don't get me wrong. People always say it's just mental. No, it's not mental. I had a grip issue for like 4 years where I would shift my grip on the downswing and then pop up, and I didn't realize I had it. So it's not just mental. It was that. But I think when I'm missing those 10, 15 footers that I miss probably once around, it's like it's mental. I'm not confident. I'm like, oh my. Instead of thinking, oh my goodness, I can't miss this. I have to hit this. Like, I should be thinking, like, dude, this is 10, 15 footer. I make this all day. And I feel like I'd make all of mine if I just didn't think about it.
Also,
you get the opportunity. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, form adjustment just feels like trying to hone in on, like, the cue, the, like, mental cue that works for you better and better. Because maybe you have, like, a cue where it's like, okay, this, when I focus on this, I get, like, a good result. But maybe it only works, like, I don't know, let's say like 13 of 18 tee shots or something like that. And maybe you find something after a while where it's like, okay, I thought it was this, but then I'm like, this is kind of working better for me. And I don't know, it kind of feels like you slowly gain more awareness of the things that you took for granted, just like in a throw. And then it just overall helps along the way. But I don't know. It's like, oh, I figured it out. Like, this is the thing I recall Ben would say all the time. He's like, dude, I figured it out now. But then it's like, I don't know, like 5 of the 7 days in a week, if you were to go play, you're like, I'm playing like crap. Dude, why is this not working? But then those 2 days, you're like, oh man, I'm filthy. And then you figure it out and you're like, it was worth it. It was worth working on.
Yeah. So no, I'm with you. Like, I feel like I'm a bit of a form nut, and it paid off because I can throw really far. But I was a little too much of a nut that even the past year, I'm glad I just kept working on my form, but I'm at the point now where, like, the past probably like 3 or 4 months where, like, I need to stop thinking about form or I'm never going to get good. Like, I'm at that point where it's like, there's only so much I can think about and try where it's already like, okay, this already didn't work. This already didn't work. What I have right now feels good and works. Just because maybe I bend my elbow a little bit, I should just smooth it out. So that's kind of like in the position I am now. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of myself that I haven't really been recording myself like as much, I guess, because like today I recorded myself on, I think, 18's tee pad at Diamonds out of all of them, just because, it's a big rip. But I'm at that point, but so it was worth the form and figuring it out. And those figuring out moments was like, yeah, it like clicks. Something clicks. It's not like you ever will figure out your form completely, but something clicks where it's like, this feels good and this works. I'm at that point where what I'm doing looks good and feels really good, and I'm throwing hard. So I need to stop. I somehow need to reverse engineer my brain of always thinking like, okay, what else do I gotta do? What else gotta I do to be like, you've tried everything. Enjoy.
Ben, I don't want to blow up your world or make you feel bad or anything, but I think your form looks so weird. Every time I see you throw, I just like, I'm like, what the heck is going on with this guy?
But that's what I'm saying.
Like, you just like explode. Like, it looks like you just blow up every time you throw. If that makes sense.
I feel like that's a good thing, but
I want
Spence when all this broken, dude.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe to you it might look. I'm not saying like when I say it looks good, I mean like, I'm not saying, yeah, it's not the most perfect form ever. Compared to a pro, it's still janky. But I'm saying it looks good enough where it's not like I should like stress over something, like stress over it more. It's like good enough where it's like now it's about smoothing, where I shouldn't be thinking about that. And honestly, like you saying that doesn't really affect me because I personally think I generally enjoy how it's looking now to me in my eyes perfectly. As of right now, like that, I was saying perfectly because that Perry the Platypus thing, I just threw over hole one's Gold's tee pad. Like, yes, I know it's janky in a sense, but to me, it's like a good foundation.
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Ben.
Context. I posted a reel like the other day, me throwing over hole one Gold's tee pad, and it had the Perry the Platypus theme in it. Yeah. So, but like that like that was me just not thinking about form and throwing it, and I liked how it looked. So, and it felt good, and I made it over the pond. So, I'm just at that point where I just gotta not think and just go.
I mean, you were just talking about the Robinson brothers and how people might look at that and be like, "Is that ideal form?" But they're filthy and they're winning. So as long as the mechanics and the purpose of the throw is being fulfilled, I mean, that's all that matters, right?
I mean, I've kind of thought about it a little bit like whatever you can do to consistently hit the line you're trying to hit, that's all that matters. Like, yeah, we can have better form to throw farther, but it doesn't matter if you're not hitting your lines. Like I was thinking about it at Sprinkle. I was like,
exactly.
I don't care if I can throw 500 if I just pure the gap every time. You know, like, yeah, maybe there'll be a few holes that I don't reach, but if I'm just like, if I have the worst form in the world, but I'm throwing straight down the fairway and landing under the basket, whatever, you know? So that was like kind of another revelation I had as well. Just like, just figure out what gives me the most consistency, you know? Like, I think that having good form, yeah, will probably help you be consistent, but more than anything, it's just getting consistent with whatever your form is,
Well,
you
yeah,
know, and just
exactly.
having the confidence.
There's some intangibles like that you should like fix, but yeah, everyone's form's gonna be different. Like if you're rounding, for example, like you're never gonna get good if you're just rounding every time because your aim's gonna be.
I don't know about that. Niklas just won this past weekend, and that man, maybe people disagree. I think he just like rounds like a little bit.
I don't, but
like,
it gets into the spot. I mean, rounding like where it's like, you're like rounding where it's like this, and you're like, and you never get into the pocket. Like, yes, he brings it in a little bit, but I mean, like, if you're like throwing like that and like your hand, you're never, it's gonna be inaccurate. You got to get in the, So there is some intangibles but that's what I'm saying. It's very big. It's some stuff, but at a certain point, yeah, it's like everyone's gonna have different form, and it's like I think Ezra's a great point. Like he does everything. Like he has nothing, and he does everything correctly. It just looks different than most, if that makes sense. Like Ezra Robinson.
Why do you think this obsession with form started in general? Just because Paul Macbeth was like the player to look at as like kind of as we came up in disc golf, or I mean that's after our time, or we're after that time, it seems like, but that was like the big focus because he was like the player, and he still pretty much is to a certain degree. Do you feel like he's kind of the reason that people are obsessed about form, or I don't even, are they that way in golf as well? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they are. I mean, if you have bad form in golf, you're not a good golfer. You have to have good form, and I believe that the same way in disc golf. Like, I think form's a important part of getting good in disc golf, to a certain extent. That's why, because there's a few certain things you have to do to properly, launch a disc and brace and stuff like that to get good enough to get better. Because if you just keep doing the same thing, like there's a certain plateau, but you could get really good. I firmly believe anyone can get really good by doing like 360, like throwing from their chin. I truly believe anyone can reach the 970s, 980s, but like at a certain point, I feel like there's limitations with a certain form. So I think it's important just with golf. It's just like with golf. I think it's important because it just gets you better. I know for me personally, I'm able to throw as far as I can because I've thought about form. No other reason.
Well, I only brought that up because you look at some of the top 10 people, like we talked about Niklas, who it's not like any of these guys have bad form, obviously. They're killing it. But they're at like the top of our game currently, and they don't have what we would refer to as like ideal traditional form, like Niklas, the Robinson brothers. I mean, for even Ricky's form is like bizarre compared to
Ricky's
other
a good
people.
example of just like he just stuck with what he had, and it shaped into that. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's so nuanced. I think if you're able to change it, like might as well, because you might not be able to, adapt into where it starts to that adapt to where like it's an easy transition and you keep getting better and better because there's just some things that are, like I said, intangible that you need. Ricky does all the things you like, does all the correct things. It just looks different.
Yeah. I mean,
I also think a lot of this is so arbitrary because our sport is so new still. Like I think Robbie C talked about it at some point where it's the idea of, like there's so many times where they've said something and then gone back on it in a few months. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
With golf, there's a lot of like, I guess there's still probably a lot of people saying incorrect things, but they have so much of a better idea of like what actually works.
Yeah, because they have like
and
science
so
and
like
biometrics.
Yeah, so like with our sport, there's not as much of that yet, and we're still figuring it out. So that's why it feels like such a mess. To go back to your point, though, I think people focus on form just because they want. Like, I mean, this is the simple answer, but just everyone in our sport wants to be better. Everyone,
Yeah.
like if you're playing tournaments, you're gonna think about form. Like that's pretty assured, unless you're just like happy being MA4, which is totally fine. But if you want to get better, usually you think about form or at least something in regards to the competitive nature. It's just like the next step after like picking up disc golf. And especially when you start disc golf, if you're like, man, I'm trash, like how do I get better? Form is how you get better. So I don't know. I think, yeah, maybe Paul Macbeth related, but people just want to be good at the sport. It's the same idea where everyone wants to be a disc golf content creator too. Like more often than not, everyone wants to make disc golf videos. They just don't know how to, or don't know how to make them well.
Yeah, man. It's just a sense of clout. It's like in any hobby, there's always something to be like, yo, look how sick I am at blank. And having said that, like I tried making the point about like form and top 10 players, like we all still are going to try to strive to have good form regardless. Like having said that, where it's like, it doesn't matter to a certain degree, sure. But anyways, okay. So I had my whatnot stream last week. Josh had his like a few weeks prior, and Ben's is coming up for listeners tonight. For us tomorrow. I have an icebreaker that is coming in very late in the episode. My icebreaker is, I want you to name 2 discs in your whatnot stream that pained you to part with, or Ben, ones that pained you to add to your whatnot stream that you have not yet parted with.
All right.
Or maybe none did.
Yeah. So for me, I still have like basically what the whatnot stream is for me is it's my collection, but it's discs that I'm okay with parting with, that I had a surplus of. Most of them are brand new, or I just I'm never gonna throw this, or like like one of the, like an Eagle Envy is one of them. Like really cool disc, but I don't know. It's just not something that me personally I'm collecting. So I don't think I really had anything where it was like, oh, there was a few moments where I was like, oh, should I sell it? Maybe not. But yeah, I still have my like solid collection of my like Sky Riders and Proto MVP disc and stuff like that. Like, I don't think I would ever auction that off because I kind of also like being a collector.
So you have no answer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I guess not really. All of the discs that I'm selling, I'm okay with parting with, which is why they're up.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same way. Like I didn't.
What the frick?
There was like maybe there was 2 discs that I had made videos with that I was like, oh, should I sell these? But it was just like, I don't know. My mindset is, I still have my backups. These were all discs that I didn't see any future of like throwing. They were like really great discs, but I just was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna throw this, if that makes sense. So like kind of like what Ben was saying, like I think I sold an Eagle Envy as well. It's just like I'm not planning on throwing this anytime soon, and I don't really see it taking a spot in my bag. So why am I gonna hold on to this? Like I tried to hold on to stuff that I was thinking I might make a video about someday, and then also backups. But other than that, I was like, I have ample discs, you know. What is the point of them just sitting on my shelf if they're always just going to be like tertiary backups? So
great word.
The one disc that comes to mind is I aced with a Buzz OS in a short when I went to Charlotte, and that was a sick disc. But I did.
Wow.
It was in a video. It was not a real ace. It was like a 50th shot or something.
Yeah, I'm nostalgic like that though. Like sort of. Like I've lost one of my ace discs, but all my rest I've hung up in the Hall of Fame, and so I'm nostalgic like that. Actually, one really made me mad is you guys have probably seen when I threw in for Eagle when I first with Simon when I first threw the time lapse. The disc I threw in for Eagle, I lost, and
no,
dude.
Yeah, so like that was upsetting. So now I'm trying everything. I just retire it, even if it's a practice ace, like not a practice ace as like it's still an ace, but like a casual ace. I'll retire it.
That's tough. Well, I went a little deeper into my collection and I got rid of like original Lazadal Hex. I got rid of like a Mind Bender. I got rid of
I kept my Mind Benders. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't part with those.
Well, I still have like two, so one that I can throw and one just like there for I guess collection's sake. But yeah, still selling those. It didn't feel good. Don't get me wrong. And like they snagged it for like $40, which is
sheesh,
kind of a steal. So good on those people.
Wait, how much are they on market right now?
I don't want to know the answer, please. Please. But
Mind Bender.
But
how was it? Did it go well?
Yeah, it went well. There's a learning curve because I guess for anyone that hasn't done a Whatnot stream before, they do a pretty good job of guiding you through the process leading up to your stream. But it's like going to college before getting like a job. It will never fully, truly prepare you for doing it. There's going to be a portion of figuring it out as soon as it starts. But as soon as I did, it went super smoothly. I fully thought it was going to take about the same amount of time as like doing a podcast. And I think I finished it in 50 minutes, something like that. And that was doing like a little over 60 discs. So we cruised.
I got to make the 2-hour mark, bro.
Yeah, you got to make the 2 hours. I should have sent you my referral code or whatever. You get an extra
he knew about it.
Yeah, I knew about it. It was more so like I had like the pile of discs, and I'm not saying that this is right or the smart thing. I was like, I just want to do it. I just want to get rid of them, and that's that.
Yeah, valid.
So it went well. I would potentially even do one again because I have things that are just like here that I was like, no one's gonna buy these, and like the things I sold like some bangers, but there were a couple things where people still like bought things for more than I would, and then vice versa, like things that I thought would pop off did not. And I was like, do I actually understand the disc market? I don't think I do.
You said you sold a few discs for $1. What discs were they? Were they just like beat up, like destroyed, DX chewed up?
I found like this really old ESP Meteor, and it had an ace on it, and I felt it, and there was a part of me that was like, should I just hold on to this thing because it feels incredible? It's like the perfect example of a disc that probably isn't going to be valuable to a consumer, but to me, or like someone that owns it, they're like, this thing actually is incredible.
Yeah, no one cares about Jimothy except for me, pretty much.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, I see your point for sure. I even sold I sold like an old Elite Z Flick, and it went for more money than that Meteor. So is what it is. No regrets. I appreciate everyone that hung out, and it was a good time. I would definitely do it again.
I'm excited for mine tomorrow or tonight. So tune in 7 p.m. tonight. Whatnot. I'll be going live from 7 to 9, offloading my collection. Just tune in. Whatnot.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing another one. Actually, probably next week. Just I don't know. I just said that I have so many discs that I don't use. And I still have them. I got rid of
look behind your head.
80 or 90, and I still have a million. It's not like since my last Whatnot, I've gotten a ton more discs. I've gotten a handful. I just have so many that I need to offload. my wife would appreciate it.
Yeah, no one really talks about exactly like what you just said, where you go through and sell them, and then you go through like not that long after, and you're like, maybe I want to sell these, and you continuously, no matter what, it feels like, for me anyways, there's like, oh, I could get rid of more, and it's like, how is this possible? Like, I have this many discs.
Yeah,
I'm the same way.
Lot.
I kind of want to like. I had a really fun time on my Whatnot stream. I think you said you did too. I wouldn't mind making it like a bi-monthly kind of thing to like, yeah, offload extra discs, but also just hang out with people. It's a unique way. Like, I don't live stream on Insta or YouTube or anything, so this would be like kind of the only spot where I'm like live streaming and directly interacting with people. Because like there was a lot of people on there that watch my videos and stuff, which was super awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah,
that's a good feeling for sure. And it seems like a lot of people just in general are all of a sudden, like when I went to Ben, it seems like both times that you've pushed your Whatnot stream, you've been at Maple Hill. And it's funny, like in the pro shop.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I mentioned, they're like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just looking for used discs just for like my Whatnot stream. And they're like, Whatnot? They're like, what's that? And like asking about it. So yeah, I think did you happen to look in any of that just to see if there's like bangers that you could sell?
No,
that used rack's crazy.
No, everything is literally from my collection that I'm okay with parting with. Literally, it's my collection.
Yeah. I went there and I found like a Brinster Splatterstar Destroyer.
I have
just
one.
just sitting there on the used rack. Sold
I have
it.
one of those.
So
I'm selling a Splatterstar T-Bird brand new, 2 of them.
Hit them up. Go for the stream, y'all.
I have no clue what those are. Sajko, I had a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you edit all of Another Round's YouTube videos?
Not all of them. No.
Okay, that's what I thought. I feel like
are you talking about the one that went up today?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that as well. Is that like OG footage, or were you there recently?
I was. So that's when I went down to Charlotte, and then we went over to Asheville, and that's like right before we went to North Cove. Yeah, we were hanging out in Asheville.
That was a little while ago, though, right?
It was. It's just like
cool.
It's a matter of combing through the footage on top of the other stuff that I've been, because taking on more roles. Totally. Taking on more roles with the Another Round stuff. And
I can only imagine that was probably 3 or 4 hours of footage.
Yeah. It was not 3 or 4 hours, but maybe like 2 or 3, something like that. Yeah, those
a lot.
Yeah, those are ones where it seems like it shouldn't take that much time, but because you have to comb through every single shot that someone throws, just in case something cool or funny or whatever happens. Yeah. It takes way more time than just like a typical playthrough type video where, you could easily, between recording and editing, you could probably have that up in 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah,
like that,
that's
right?
what I'm doing now. I like those type of videos. I'm going away from those freaking intricate movie-esque ones.
Yeah. So ace races take a long time. Like I have a Dallas ace race from when we did that one. So that's what I've been. I started working on today. So why do you ask about the Another Round YouTube stuff?
Well, I was just wondering. I thought I could tell the difference between a Joseph edit or whoever does the other edits and a Sajko edit. I also feel like, and I completely understand why, but I feel like you're doing a little bit less than you used to do as well.
Oh, completely. It's just for sure just a workload related thing. That and
no, totally.
Maybe I've talked about it on here. I don't notice as much of it's almost like, I don't want to say like people don't care about it, but it doesn't always equal more per se, where it's like, sure, I like it and it's funny, but maybe something takes so much time and it's like, I don't know if there's much value in me doing that aside from me thinking it's funny. But since I'm getting paid to be doing that, it doesn't really make sense for it to be like, obviously I want to enjoy it and have them enjoy it too, but I need to serve like the video, I suppose. I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
No, I completely agree with you. on a video to video basis, if you post one video with like way less edits and then post the exact same video with way more edits, I don't really think that it would affect views in any way. But intrinsically, is that the right word? Wait, one sec.
Yeah, I think it makes it difficult to
tertiary.
I think it makes it difficult for people to get like a consistent feel for what they're watching if it's different all the time. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
That's not the point I'm even trying to make. I agree with what you're saying. Like, yeah, I think that, like, with mine, if I posted a Bodanza video with like low edits, people would be a little bit confused because they have come to expect like the high edit, like literally wrote a song for a video, like thing, you know? And so, like, yeah, I agree with that. But I think that over a long period of time is when you would see the benefits from it. So, like, I still don't think you do it because it's another round. But on your side of things, like Sajko videos, like, I think doing that matters a lot, if that makes sense. I think that it's a branding thing, and over a long period of time is when someone would like associate that with you and associate it in a good light, you know, like subconsciously, because that's how I feel somewhat with the content I consume. And I'm not going to call anyone out, but like, I just get the vibe sometimes that people don't care about the videos they're posting as much as like if you were doing what you're doing, you know. I'm like, oh, Sajko really cares about this, and that makes me like him way more, you know. Like, that's just me as a consumer and analyzing like my reaction to that kind of thing. So I think it matters, but on like a view to view, like video to video basis, I don't think it does. But like overarching, I think it matters a lot, if that makes sense. Because it's personality. You're putting your personality into it.
Yeah, I feel like where I've changed the most in the last year is I associated the amount of time that I would put into a video or the amount of like how hard I went on an edit to be equaling, this is how much I care about this video. Look at the amount of time and effort that's gone into it. But yeah, between my stuff and another round stuff, just over time, I've realized that honestly, half the time when I would do something that's way over the top or something that I was proud of or trying something different, it didn't equal people caring.
For sure.
Even though I enjoyed it or it was something cool to me. And I still find that, you know, like I did like a Trash Panda edit that I did this morning and I posted it and I was stoked about it. Literally no, I love Trash Panda and you know, that's all good, but none of my followers or anyone like cared about it at all, which is such a bummer because, you know, like there's a couple things in it that I tried, and then like the day before or 2 days before, I do that stupid Bag Boy video and it just blows up.
Yeah, everyone and their moms was reposting that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, so it's so hard to compare those two types of videos, right? Because one took so much more effort and like personality, I suppose, or at least like that's how it feels to me, like creating it. Whereas like the other thing took me straight up 10 minutes to make, and post, and people cared about it more. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point, I suppose, but I think you just have to find. I think you have to find a balance between the two, whether you either post both or somehow you try to find a way to like combine those.
I think I like the concept of posting both. Like,
yeah,
I don't think either of those videos you're talking about were off brand for you. Like, they're just two different parts of you. Like, I think that's different than me posting more casual stuff. Like, that's why if I'm going to post casual stuff, I'm going to do it on a second channel. Like, it's still me, but it's just not the expectation I've set on my YouTube. I feel like you've set the expectation. Like, I think both of those videos are the expectation that you've set. That's my take.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting looking back on old things that I've made, and like Broad talked about this on our pod that we still haven't posted, but I mean, sometimes on stuff and you're like, well, I guess for him, spoiler alert, he looks back on stuff and he's like, this is really good. What the heck am I doing? For me, looking back, and I feel like what's probably common for a lot of people is they look back and they're like, what was I doing? Like, that's very cringe.
Lucky for me, I'm the same as Broad. I watch my old videos and I'm like genuinely like, holy crap, I'm good at this.
Good for
Which
you,
is
man.
so cocky, but like I like will watch my video and be like invested in my own story.
Oh my gosh, weird. Dude, get off the podcast.
I know, it's horrible. But like,
what's happening next? Wait, Jay Millie's unboxing. Oh my, he has to get -3 on this course. I wonder what I'm gonna do here.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know it's so horrible, but like, I guess I'm very glad that this is like that I'm putting out content that I'm that proud of. You know, that like even a while later I can be hyped on it.
Yeah, of course. Like that's a cool feeling. Like I may not feel that for myself. Like maybe that's just like an overall like self-image or related thing. But obviously other people liked what I did which has led me to this point, right? So I can't be like too hard on the stuff that I did.
No, totally. I agree.
Did you guys end up watching?
Oh, there's 3 different directions we could go right now.
True.
I was gonna ask if you guys ended up watching my most recent video. Content Benny, bro, is back.
Dude, he's back. Ben, I did not. No, it's
okay.
I need to watch both your videos. I'm a fake friend.
It's okay. I saw your video, Ben, and then it didn't get recommended to me, so I forgot about it. But I will watch it. Don't worry.
No worries. I wasn't looking for like anything. I was just wondering. I wasn't looking for like a, I don't know, critique. I don't know. Anyway, what were you gonna say? Jay Millie
am looking for feedback. Sajko, I want you to watch my video and tell me how bad my song is.
Oh, you made a song for this thing? I heard you just say that like a moment ago, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I made a song. There's a song in my video that I made myself.
Dude, I saw you gassing it up.
It's you singing?
Yeah. I genuinely think it's the best video I've ever made.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Ben. I probably am halfway there, but I don't think I made it to the song portion.
It's the tomahawk thing. I don't know if you've seen anything with a tomahawk yet.
Yeah, I'd have to check.
So you haven't watched the whole thing, right?
No. Yeah, I think I'm halfway.
Then you probably haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't.
Well, dang.
It's nothing crazy, but I know you know how to like mix and produce music, and I spent hours. And I want to try it again.
Wow.
I just did it in DaVinci.
So it's so funny because I don't know.
That's amazing.
When you guys watch my video, I have a song in there too that AI created though.
Yo, what the heck?
Wait, was that so? Sajko, another round commented on my reel. I thought it was you that commented in. It must have been Joseph then. It's on Instagram too. The song at the end. So it must have been Joseph because I thought that was you that commented.
No, yeah. Now that you say that, I do recall your song. No.
Okay, there you go.
So I guess for any listener, I think I've commented like twice. That's all Joe related stuff. So I think people even sometimes will see another round comment on my stuff and they're like, "What? This dude's commenting on his own post." Like,
dude,
what the heck?
Yo, this is the best video we've ever seen. Congrats.
No, it's Joe. I mean, messages occasionally, like DMs, but sometimes they're business stuff, so I leave them for Daddy Joe. But yeah, I'll check that out, Josh. I'll make sure to check that out. I'll give feedback. Maybe we'll talk about it on next week's episode, or we have a potential guest on. Stay tuned.
Please.
True.
Sick.
Yeah,
Wait,
for
we
listeners,
still need to have Broderick back as well.
Yeah, we do. We do need to have Broad back. Broad, come back.
We always have technical difficulties when he's on.
Should I? No, I won't expose. I'm encroaching on 100K. I think we talked about this last week.
Are you doing anything for this?
For 100K?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that
man.
was what I was talking about. Maybe exposing. I'm gonna do a video, and I was working on it today.
If it's 100 days locked in somewhere for $100,000, sign me up.
No, I can tell you guys. Honestly, I'd like to hear your feedback. I'm gonna do trying 100 new discs for 100,000 subscribers, and then whichever one is my favorite, I'm gonna add it to my bag.
Ooh.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I like it.
Sick. Yeah. And I'm going to go from major manufacturers to the most obscure disc that I have throughout the video.
The meme disc.
And then
you love your meme discs.
I'm going to get 10 discs from Trash Panda and make those the last 10 discs and say something along the lines of like, I guarantee you won't know the last 10 discs because Jesse has the craziest discs ever. So.
Oh, like the recyclable program you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I thought you were saying new
molds.
I was like, what?
We're on the same page now. We're on the same page.
Yeah, that can be super confusing. Yes, people have sent him some crazy stuff from the recycling program, and so I think it'd be fun to incorporate those as like
That's hilarious. I like that.
The climax. But yeah, so to produce this, I've spent all day reaching out to manufacturers, pitching the idea to them for them to send me the discs that I haven't thrown from them. So I found some success. It's very interesting.
So your fans already told you the discs to do though?
No, I'm doing discs I've never thrown before. Like most of Prodigy's lineup I haven't thrown.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying you asked 100,000 people to give them their top 100 discs that you haven't tried.
Oh, interesting.
For some reason, that's what I thought you were saying.
That sounds like a lot of effort.
Yeah, that would be.
Or like, but I bet like you could say 100,000, but I thought you were asking your fans like, give me a disc that I've never tried, and then you were just making a list from there. That makes more sense.
Yeah, but how would they know I haven't tried it though?
You would just pick which
put
ones you haven't tried. No, you would pick the ones you haven't tried. If someone said ESP Wasp and you've never tried one, then it's like, okay, that's one. I don't know. Sorry. We were on different wavelengths.
When I first had the idea, it actually wasn't my idea. Shout out my wife's sister.
Yo, shout out Joe too.
I was like, yeah, shout out Joe. I was like, oh, there's definitely not 100 discs I haven't thrown. Dude, there are like probably 300 discs I haven't thrown. There are so many discs and small manufacturers.
It's probably 1,000.
Like there are, yeah, it could be in the thousands. And now I'm like, okay, I might have extra discs in after this.
What not?
I still need to try later.
Bro, you got the ultimate business plan. Ask companies for discs for your videos and just sell them on Whatnot, bro.
That is not sustainable, nor is it like my conscience could not do that. Conscience. That would be horrible. I would feel so bad.
That's the thing. I'm the same way as you. I have some like Simon discs that he gave me from Discmania and MVP prototypes and stuff like that like I could make money on, but like I just can't sell them. Like they were given to me as gifts. Like it's just like it'd be the most scummy thing to ever do, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah,
dude. Even one cool recommendation that's local-ish to you is what's it, Meridian Discs. They have a mid-range that is like a overstable quote unquote buzz type disc.
Ravine.
Yeah, it feels really good.
I met the owner and got to chat with him a lot, and he let me borrow his Ravine while we were playing a flex together, and I almost aced, and then I birdied the hole. So
that one's out of the question.
So there's never mind then.
I did reach out to him though, because I haven't tried the Tundra or the Current or Rip Current or the Chasm or I don't know. I haven't tried a few of their discs, and I think they have some really cool plastic and good stuff. So
yeah, Tundra
on video.
Tundra,
I'm really excited.
This is just a Meridian shout out apparently.
Shout out Meridian. Shout out Peyton.
Shout out
because I snagged a couple.
Too.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Ooh,
sick.
Boys, is that a pod?
Yes, Sajko, always reining us back in. I love how, real quick, I love how we've kind of like slowly figured out our roles. Like, obviously we all have the same role, but like certain things we all do. Like Sajko's responsibility is, boys, is that a pod? and we just wait for Sajko's word. We just wait, and then we're good.
Yeah, there have been a couple times where we started the podcast, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know what we're doing, but Sajko, I assume that you have like a list of things that you potentially want to talk about, like some points. And I was like, yeah, I've got some stuff.
Yeah, Sajko's the
so
it's
too. Not the role.
He's the
it's not the role that I've asked for, but it's just the one that apparently I've assumed of just trying to keep us on track. And when we go down a rabbit hole, keep going down the rabbit hole.
Guy. He's the moderator. But yes, that's a podcast.
Sick. Well, hey, thanks everyone for listening. Almost a year of Funsie, and a lot of cool things happening coming up that I'm sure like none of us can even talk about for our own respective things. So appreciate everyone that follows along for the ride. So until next time.
Funsie, but real quick, buy our Funsie flips if you want to support us.
Oh, there's still some?
Hooliganist.com. Yes, there are still some. I think there's like 20 left, so hooliganist.com.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sick.
Funsie. Bye.
Funsie.
Ancestors protect me.